Let's talk about measures of disease, and we're going to start with incidence and prevalence. And why don't we start with the definitions of these two terms? So, incidence is the number of new cases that have occurred in a given time period over the number of people at risk in that given time period. And prevalence is the number of cases over the number of total people. And so you can see two differences already between these definitions. Incidence looks at the number of new cases. So if someone already has the disease, we don't care. We only care about the ones who newly developed the disease. That's different than prevalence, in which we are worried about if you already have the disease, even if you got it 20 years ago before we were doing our study, you count. And so that's what these number of cases are counts in here. Now the other thing that's different is this time frame aspect here. So it's in a given time frame, whereas we don't have that time aspect here. So what that means is that incidence is really a rate. A rate has some sort of time inherent in it. It's how fast something is happening, and so that's how we have the time frame here. And prevalence is a proportion, and so a proportion is a percentage, right? So what is the percentage of people who have the disease over all the people in total? And because of that, what we can say is that incidence is a rate. So what we're doing is we're really measuring how fast this disease is occurring, how fast it's happening. And that is, in essence, a measure of risk. The faster the disease is occurring, the riskier it is for those people. On the other hand, prevalence asks how much of the disease is there in that population. Is it just a little bit or is it a lot? And that makes a difference because that tells us the burden of disease, meaning how many people are sick with that disease and how many people do we have to care for. So that might matter for public policy. You might need to build more clinics or build more hospitals to care for those people with the disease. Now let's look at incidence and prevalence in a little bit more detail. So I put our definitions for incidence and prevalence up here. And now let's pretend that we're doing a study. And this study is going to last 10 years. And so here's a timeline representing those 10 years. And so here's the time frame of our study, represented by this big pink box. And what we're going to look at in this study is the onset of cancer in these people. And so here's this line represents one person. The O stands for the onset of the cancer, and then this little death face represents that they died of the cancer. So we got a bunch of people in the study. And so here are all the people in the study. So here's our initial guy who got cancer at about year and a half, and then eventually died around year 7. This one got cancer around year 1.5, and then died around year 9. This person didn't live that long, cancer around 4, died around 5. This person got cancer before the study but died within the study. Here's another person who got cancer after the study and died. A person who got cancer but then lived through and hadn't died yet. And this person got it and died before the study. And here's a person who never even got cancer. So let's look at incidence first. So incidence is the number of new cases in a given time frame. And so what is our time frame here? It's this 10-year period. How many new cases? Well, what's a case? How are we defining that here? We're defining case as the onset of cancer. So what we want to know is how many people got cancer during this time period. This guy did, this one did, this one did. This one did get cancer, but not within the time period, so this one doesn't count. This one also got cancer, but not within the time period. This one did. This one got cancer, but not within the time period, and this guy never got cancer. So how many new cases do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to ask, how many people were at risk of getting cancer in this time period? So this person was, right? Because from up till here to here they were at risk. This person was, this person was. This person wasn't, because they already had cancer by the time the study started. So they were never at risk of getting cancer because they already had it. This person was at risk of getting cancer. They just didn't get it during that time frame. This person was at risk too, right? Because as they entered the study, they didn't have it. Then they did get it. This person was never at risk of getting cancer because they died before the thing started. and this person was. So how many people were really at risk? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 people who were at risk. So in this particular period, our incidence of cancer was 0.66 over this 10-year period. 0.66. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look at prevalence. Now prevalence is like a snapshot in time. And so let's pick a particular time point. And so we picked a snapshot in time. We're going to look at this. It looks like year 4. And we want to see what are the total number of cases. So who has cancer at this point in time? Well, this guy does. This one does. This one does. This one does not because they died before then. And this one doesn't. This one does. This one does not. And this one does not. So how many total cancer cases do we possibly have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 cases again, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what goes in the denominator? Well, the denominator is anyone else that was there, right? So we have 1 person, 2, 3. This is another one, 4. They didn't get cancer till later, but they count 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 people that we are looking at in total at this snapshot in time. Remember, this guy didn't live to that snapshot, nor did this. So 6. Or you could say the prevalence of disease at year 4 in this study was 66%. And so this gives you a little bit of an idea of how prevalence and incidence are different. All right, we're going to talk in some more detail about incidence and the different kinds of incidence and different ways of measuring incidence in the next video. Thanks. Bye.